What was your email that you got that I didn't get?
I totally,
what was that email?
The email? The email that you're really mad about?
Email.
The email
that
that
email?
actually
The
pissed
email
you
that
off?
I'm...
Yeah.
Yes. The email that happened literally earlier today and I'm really mad about.
Yeah. I got an email.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Coin Drop Podcast. We're officially back, Mike. We're back. We're here.
Back.
We're back.
We're back.
Right off the top.
Died.
What? What?
We didn't get to that part yet. Just keep going.
Off the top here, just want to apologize for the sudden cancellation of the show last week. If you're in the Discord, you would have seen that. If not, you're probably sitting there going, what the fuck? Where'd they go? What happened? Family issues. That's all I'm going to say. Things are okay. Everybody is safe. Everybody is fine. Everyone is healthy. And so, yeah, we just had to take a weekend off very suddenly. Apologize because it's obviously like a couple of weekends, kind of not back to back, but a lot. So we're going to do our best to not take any more weekends off moving forward, except for the last 2 of the year, which is kind of our holiday break, right? So that said, we kind of have some news. But before we get to that, we have a lot of news. I guess I should say. We have a lot of video game news to talk about because we haven't talked about the conventions at all, the conferences. Mike and I think we only watched the Summer Game Show. I don't know if you ended up watching anything else, but we're going to talk about everything that we saw, that we liked, that we think is cool, and some of it that we didn't like. But we have an announcement before that, kind of. Mike got an email a while ago. Mike, what was your email that you got that I didn't get? What was your email that you got that I didn't get? What was that email?
The email? The email that you're really mad about? The email that actually pissed you off?
Yes. Yeah? The email that happened literally earlier today and I'm really mad about.
Yeah, I got an email.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. I got an email.
You want to fill everybody in on what that email is?
I got approved for PAX West Media.
You sure did, buddy. You sure did.
And I applied 2 days after you did.
And you applied like a half-assed asshole.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They asked for metrics, and literally I typed out all of my metrics are on, like, you have the metrics, basically.
Yep. On my application.
Yep.
Which I did 2 days before you.
Yeah. You did it on the 22nd. I did mine the 24th. Mm-hmm. And I got approved on the 6th.
Yep. I genuinely, I'm super fucking mad. I'm really hopeful that you and the wife are correct and that it's just like a clerical error and they're going to resolve it. Because it doesn't make sense that you would get in and I wouldn't. Like that just doesn't make sense at all. It doesn't.
So, but because I do have access to their like actual email.
Yeah.
People, persons, PR team, etc. So I sent them an email to ask them like,
what the fuck?
In more professional words, but like, yeah, what the fuck?
The good news is their media registration is still open, even though their email to Mike said that like there's limited access. They're still taking applications. So hopefully that means that they'll be like, oh, yeah, we did approve him. We just forgot or something. I don't know. We'll see. But the good news is one of us, at the very least, is going to be working PAX. This guy over there. Well, on my screen, he's over there, but on your screen, he's over there too. So that guy.
So Russ, physically, I'm technically behind him and below.
Yes, accurate. We are actually not quite back to back. You're like front to back. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. You're
over there.
I am up there. We're doing really great for an audio podcast that most people listen to, and we're making a lot of gestures. This is awesome.
Yeah, dude, that's the best. That's like, hey, man, nice shirt.
Yeah.
Audio listeners like, what the fuck, man?
What is he talking about? Yeah. Or like when you listen to a stand-up comedian and they make like a visual joke and you're like, cool, man, thanks for fucking the audio guys. Yeah. We're doing that right now. Still doing that.
Yeah. Like when Jim Jeffries did his whole thing about gun control.
Hey, let's talk about games.
Yeah. But his musket skit, there's just like a whole 2 minutes of nothing happening on the audio side. And I just like, I think he's doing something that I need to see.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Mike, how's your week been? What'd you get up to? Did you do anything fun?
I got sick.
You did. You got really fucking sick. We're actually recording this on Sunday. Just got back from camping, the wife and I, and we were going to record Friday before we left, but this guy was dead. Dead. DED dead.
Yep. I had Corona, man, which sucks because I fucking hate beer. Corona.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No. I had COVID.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I had Corona because I was drinking Coronas, and I hate Corona. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, I got COVID. The first, I think this was like a half. I don't even know what variant, but it like wasn't as bad as the first or the last time, I should say.
I'm gonna go ahead and guess it was COVID 12.35.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep. Genome number 74.
Correct.
Yeah.
Of the
scientists, sure.
72837E variety. Yeah.
NASA hire us.
Give me money.
the first 2 days, it kind of presented itself as just like a head cold. Third day, I got a fever. When I stood up, it was really hard to breathe. Obviously, you took me to the emergency room.
I did,
and they told me, that my oxygen saturation was good. But I'm sitting here like, like obviously it's gonna be good when I'm taking breaths like that. And then they told me that I had to go to another emergency room because they don't take Medicaid.
Yeah.
So it was like a whole fucking ordeal.
Yeah.
And then after that, I ended up just saying, fuck it, man. Just bring me home. Because, like,
if I die, I die.
if he dies, he dies.
Yep.
Yep.
Pretty much. And I said, just don't die in my house. Just die in the street.
Yeah. So I just been chugging electrolytes and tea and water.
Yep.
And now I'm all mostly better.
Good.
90% of the way there.
Cool. My week was okay. Up and down after the family stuff, trying to get things in order, doing things, catching up on things. A little stressful. I made it through. God, yeah, we didn't really talk about that. I made it through my A6. I got my A6 certification for auto mechanics. I passed the hardest ASE there is. So I have a electrical certification, which is awesome because that's the only one that I was really worried about. The rest of the Alpha series ASEs, I don't think they'll be a cakewalk, but I definitely have a lot more confidence moving into those. So very cool to have that off my shoulders. But now I got the stress of summer and not having income because, GI Bill doesn't pay when you're not in school. So that's a little bit stressful. But, we're going to do what we can do. And I've been playing some games. I had some time to play some Deus Ex, got into that, which is a game that I wanted to play long time ago and never got around to. I actually deployed shortly after it came out, so I think that just kind of took me away from it. And finally played through Human Revolution and finished it, start to finish. Really good game. Solid game. Fantastically. It still holds up, too. Like, it's still a really good game. Graphically, it's definitely rough. Mike, I think you said it best. The whole game looks like it's floating because there's no ambient occlusion and like shadows are baked in, and it feels old.
It's a PS3 game for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's still fun. Story's still good. Gameplay is still fun. Some of it's kind of frustrating, but it's still really good. I was actually when I was installing Mankind Divided, I was looking at like the release gap. They only released 3 years apart, and Mankind Divided looks leaps and bounds better, like incredibly better tech. I was blown away. So I'm looking forward to playing that one next. But then I went camping. The wife and I went out to Kettle Falls area, out past actually one of our patrons. I won't dox him exactly and say where he's at, but he knows who he is. We actually drove past his place. Not like directly, but like I went through his town. I was like, oh, hey, there's that's and there's a place out there called, so-and-so's Pizza. I was like, hey, I wonder if that's his. No, I know it's not. But he knows what I'm saying.
Who you are.
You know
what
you know what you did. But let's talk about some games. We got some stuff, and I want to actually start this with where Summer Games Show ended. They announced Resident Evil 9 Requiem, I guess is the subtitle of this one. Weirdly, though, for anybody who watched this, did anybody else find it very strange that in the middle of the show, we got an announcement from... It was either from the head of director of Capcom or of the Resident Evil franchise, and they specifically said, please wait with us a little bit longer. We'll have something good to show soon. And then they showed Resident Evil 9 at the end of the show. What the fuck was the point of the message? Like, I don't get it. Mike's like, well, maybe that was just like a hang on, the footage isn't ready yet. But it was a pre-recorded message. So go ahead. Yeah.
I thought, like, the way you were explaining to me, I thought you meant like someone walked out on the stage and they were like, just bear with us a moment.
Yeah.
And then they like moved on to something else and then came back. But no, if it's a pre-recorded message,
Yeah, they put it up on screen.
Weird.
Like, like message, going into their 25th anniversary or 30th anniversary or whatever it was that they were talking about. They're like, yeah, we've got a message from the director, or CEO or something like that. And he's like, please, it says some stuff. And then he's like, please bear with us a little bit longer. We'll have something great to show you soon. And then the end of the show, they show us Resident Evil 9. So what the fuck is he going to show us?
it could have been, I didn't get the chance to like watch that entire section yet.
Yeah.
The only thing I can think of is maybe people were showing up to expect Resident Evil, like just out of the fucking gate, right? If they have a bunch of stuff, like smaller projects to show before that, it wouldn't have mattered if they started with Resident Evil. All that shit would have just been like, off to the side, Resident Evil is the focus in like the audience attention, right?
I guess.
So I think by coming out and saying, not specifying what it is, just saying we'll have something nice for you, bear with us. And then showing all the smaller projects that
maybe that
really
aren't
as exciting.
Yeah.
And then showing Resident Evil 9 at the end. I think that was a smart play for that.
I mean, I think, but like it's such a common thing, and they even did it with the apparently very bad Microsoft show, which apparently didn't show anything for Fable or Halo or Gears again. And there was a streamer that I saw her clip, and she's like, "Oh, nothing, all this and that." And then Phil Spencer's like, "We've got one more big thing to show you," and then it turns out to be Call of Duty. So,
although I will say, the actor that is the focus of this next Call of Duty, I really like him. He was amazing in Heroes. So,
nice. Okay, they got one of the Heroes actors. Who'd they get? Peter Petrelli or somebody else? Because Peter Petrelli was my guy.
I think it was Peter.
Yeah, that's cool. Peter's pretty cool.
Yeah,
anyways,
he's a really good actor.
Yeah, I wish he was in more stuff. Same with Nathan. The guy who played Nathan did a really good job too. Honestly, that whole cast was very solid. Like, it's a great cast. Anyways, I mean, I guess they could have done that, but did they really need to do the message? Like, I feel like that kind of like it made me go, oh, okay, Resident Evil's not going to be at this show. Is what my takeaway was watching that live as it happened. Not live, but like as it honestly happened.
If they had just not said anything and then just shown Resident Evil at the end without even mentioning bear with us or anything like that, it would have been fine.
That's what I mean, though. Like, why put that in there at all? So, I don't know. It's a weird choice. But the game, let's talk about what they showed for 9. So, like, the game looks really good and is a very different take. Like, it almost gave me Twin Peaks vibes. And, like...
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You play as an FBI agent now. This chick named Grace Ashcroft. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
And Ashcroft's a name in the series that, like, deep lore fans, I think, will know. I think you mentioned it, right?
Yeah, there's she was like a journalist or something in RE2, Resident Evil 2. They don't really, like, talk about her in a spotlight kind of way, but she is referenced. If you actually, like, take the time to pick up newspapers and articles and shit in the game, which I certainly don't do that in any game because I'm playing a game. I'm not trying to read. But yeah, apparently she is directly related to her either by straight descent. So
yeah, it
she's
looks
either
like
the daughter or the granddaughter. I
just pulled up the wiki for it. It says Eliza Ashcroft was an investigative reporter for the Raccoon Press who focused on social cases. She was among the few who managed to escape Raccoon City before its destruction by the U.S. government. Sterilization strategy, in air quotes. She later gave birth to a daughter named Grace Ashcroft. So yeah, she is directly Grace's mother. What's interesting is the trailer seems to hint that something horrible happens to her that is, I guess, unrelated to Raccoon City. Because like the trailer, your boss, Grace's boss, says something along the lines of like, I know your mom died there, or something along those lines.
Something horrible happened, and then she started having like a PTSD flashback. Yeah.
So let's see. I'm trying to read. Okay. Kurt was investigating suspicious activity at the private hospital in the northwestern Arklay Mountains and recognized Eliza's talent, recorded her, blah, 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 legal drug testing. Okay, so something about the Umbrella Corps. Interesting. Yeah. I kind of want to dig more into it because it's interesting to choose an entirely new focus moving forward? So there was a lot of rumors that you were going to play as Leon and Jill, that they were going to come back for 9. There was a lot of
they
speculation
still
around
might.
that.
We don't know a whole lot about RE9 except for what was presented. So like they could come back as like just a quick interaction, you know?
Oh yeah, I mean, you know what could it just so there's a lot like Resident Evil Timeline is difficult, and it's made even more difficult by Capcom recently saying that both the original versions of 2 and 3 and the remake versions of 2 and 3 and 4, I guess, are canon. Both versions of each game.
Yeah.
Which, how the fuck does that work? I don't. So, I mean, you want to talk about a complicated timeline? Watch the fuck out, Legend of Zelda. Resident Evil's got you beat.
Yeah. Yeah. Fucking Christ.
So, I mean, all right. I never played 7 and 8, but I've watched them, and I'm vaguely familiar with the outline of the story and all this and that. But the game of Village 8 ends with the assumption that you're going to be playing as the daughter in the next game, which would then be 9. But in 9, that would put it the furthest in the future is 8, correct?
Yes. 8, and then so the 8 ends.
Right.
Then there's the little cutscene after with like the daughter putting flowers on Ethan's grave,
Right.
and then she's like driving or walking away towards what I assume is like a protective custody like agent person.
Yeah, I kind of assumed it was like Chris Redfield or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. And then there was a DLC that released for Resident Evil Village that focused specifically on the daughter.
Interesting.
And she goes back to the village, I think. I haven't played the DLC.
Okay.
And I haven't watched any of it because I actually want to play it. So there is a good to fair chance, as someone that I haven't played it, so I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a good to fair chance that they like finish that story in the DLC.
That would make sense. Okay. But
And now they're just moving forward.
But eight so far is the furthest ahead of the story, right? Because 5 used to be, then 6 came out, and that was ahead of 5. And then 7, if I understood the story correctly, is actually a prequel to 1? Does that sound right?
Yes. Yeah.
That was my understanding, is there was some kind of wrap-up at the end there that leads it to the mansion from the first game.
Technically, 8 is a prequel to 1. And a continuation of 7, which was also a prequel. Because
okay, so but Chris is already a part
confusing.
of Blue, right? Yeah, because Chris is part of Blue Umbrella in 7 and 8, which doesn't exist in 1 because he's part of Stars in 1.
Yes. So this is where I think shit gets weird, because 7 doesn't outright tell you that Ethan survives because he is a mold monster, just mutated.
Right.
8 is when you find out about that.
So
8 also comes across all of the like OG lore, like the deep lore.
Yeah, where Umbrella
enough,
got their emblem and everything.
Yeah, ironically enough, after just talking about how I don't want to fucking read shit when I'm playing games, but I read fucking everything in Resident Evil 8. So Mother Moderna is like the big... You hear that and see that all over the fucking game. In the ground, on like emblems on the wall, like... Yeah, there's symbols and like almost like Dreamcatcher type stuff, like hanging from roofs, and like it's fucking. The game in atmosphere is built amazingly.
Yeah,
but Mother Moderna apparently was somebody who found the original virus, which was under the village, and
we're talking T virus.
Yes.
Okay.
And it basically like mutated with her, so she became infected, and she became this like think like hive mind, and she's at the top.
Okay.
So everybody that has been infected has mutated in some way, whether it's like werewolf, zombie, like whatever it is.
Okay.
And they're all connected to Mother Moderna, so they all reference Mother Moderna quite often. And when you get towards the end of the game and you play as Chris Redfield.
Right, yeah, I remember seeing that part where he comes in and just guns shit down.
Yeah, like full fucking Rambo, like just rampaging.
I mean, the man punches boulders
village.
for fun, so yeah.
Yeah. You get to the end of the village and there's like a laboratory, which has like a bunch of paperwork and shit in there. And I read every fucking word on those papers, my guy. the symbol for Mother Moderna pops up all over them. And the symbol for Mother Moderna ends up being adapted into the symbol for Umbrella Corp.
Right. Yeah.
Like they're one and the same.
Mm-hmm.
Which, that to me, when I played and finished the game, I was like, this is the game that just connected the timeline of the games to the timeline of the movies. So at first, I thought 8 was a prequel to the first Resident Evil movie.
Right.
Because you don't see the Umbrella stuff until like the end-ish of the first movie is when you start seeing the symbols. And that's kind of where I was going with it. But now I went, they're talking about like 9 and like how 7 and 8 are a prequel of a sequel to a prequel. And it's just like,
dude, it gets so freaking lost and confusing.
Can you make up your mind, please?
Seriously, it doesn't make any sense. That's part of, also, honestly, that's part of why I didn't play 7 and 8, is they're convoluted. They don't really fit. They feel disjointed from what Resident Evil is.
They're good games, but like if you play them with the idea of they're not canon, and they are their own thing, they're great. But then fucking Capcom came out and they were like, oh yeah, they're canon.
Yeah. Where do they fit, man?
Yeah, where?
How? Like, yeah. So anyways,
this is a jigsaw puzzle and you are a barbarian. Just like, they're canon.
Doing some digging, Mike and I have figured that Resident Evil 9 takes place between 4 and 5. I don't remember how we came to that conclusion, but I remember we found that. Do you recall how we got there? Because that was before I left for the camping trip.
I think you were like talking about
it was something to do with the information that they did put out, and like
and I had asked you if you feel like Ashcroft was around RE2 or RE3 or where it fits in the timeline, and then I think you were just looking it up based on the year that things took place.
Right.
So you had thought that it would have probably been somewhere around RE5, but then the year didn't make sense. You went back to RE4, and that still didn't make sense. Then you went back to RE3, and it happened just before RE3. So it's somewhere between RE2 and RE3 is when Ashcroft's story.
I thought it was between 4 and 5.
Sorry, the Ashcroft, the investigator, was between RE2 and RE3 on the timeline.
Yeah.
Because she escaped the city.
Right.
Then she had a kid. So that means that this game takes place, in theory, between 4 and 5.
Right. Yeah, because she would have had a kid, because that would have been the 90s. And so it was based off her age, wasn't it? How old is Grace? Resident.
Old enough to be in the FBI.
Not voice actor. Just give me Grace Ashcroft. How old is she? I thought we had like an age for her. I'm googling. Okay, so here we go. This gives us a little bit more information on kind of like her mother thing. So her mother was murdered 8 years prior to Resident Evil 9 in the Wrenwood Hotel. Okay, so that's all we have. I don't remember how we got to 4 and 5.
Even the wiki doesn't even give us her age. It just talks about if she's alive, who her mother was, the occupation. I
might have you cut in some audio here after I do some digging again and figure out where I found that post edit. Have you cut in a splice here where I kind of explain it, because I was very solid in that it took between 4 and 5, but I can't find that information right now. I don't remember how I got there, but I'll have you cut in. I think it was
literally just we were trying to figure out the timeline of when the events of the games took place themselves, and not necessarily the age of the characters.
Yeah, I think that might have been it, but it also has to coincide with her age, obviously, too. So, but I'll have you splice that in. I'll dig that up after the podcast and see if I can figure that out. But yeah, the other thing that's really unique about where we're going for Resident Evil 9 is we've got perspective shifting. You can play it in third or first person, which is honestly how these games should have been since 7. Like, one of the biggest things that turned me off of 7 was the shift to first person perspective, because I'm like, no, Resident Evil, always over the shoulder. Always.
Resident Evil 8 actually got an update for that, so you can actually go and, when you're playing as Ethan, you can perspective shift.
Nice, because that was a mod first, and then, of course, Capcom, like everybody, goes like, oh, that's a cool mod. We should make that official.
I mean, yes, but yes and
Yeah,
it was more because the DLC included perspective shifting, and so they
gotcha.
had to. It was based on the same exact code from Village. Like they didn't really change anything. They
Gotcha.
just
So they
had to
just-
change the perspective thing. So they just
I
bridged
don't
it.
understand why most games like I get it's extra work, but like that seems like such a nice add-in for people to
Yeah.
like be able to shift, and it's been around for forever. Like Morrowind, you could do it.
I mean, yeah, but it's also it has a lot more to do with like animation and
Yeah.
budget. Because
Yeah.
if you think of like Cyberpunk 2077, the third person mods, the animation for your
Yeah.
character walking is fucking brutal to look at, my guy.
Well, I remember
Like
when
it's awful.
I remember when GTA 5 announced that they were going to release a first-person mode, and like how they had to completely rebuild animations and change things to make it like
Yeah.
function in first-person stuff like that. So I get it, I do. Just wish it was a more common thing, but
Yeah.
that's what we know about Resident Evil so far. Oh, it does have a release date. We did have a release date for that. What was it? Let me scroll down here on my list.
Later.
27 February 26. So next February, which honestly not that far away. Like
No.
surprisingly soon. So looks good, graphically very impressive. I'm interested in it. It feels more down to earth horror, which is really great because I'm into that. Zombies are cool. Let's go back to regular zombies. Let's stop with the whole mutation monster body horror stuff and just go back to zombies, please, because zombies are cool. Resident Evil was cool with zombies. Can we have zombies, please? Have I said that enough times?
Hey man, do you want zombies?
I do want zombies. Can I have zombies?
All right,
Okay. All right.
maybe.
Maybe.
We'll think about it.
Moving on to another sequel, Mortal Shell 2 got announced, as well as, no, it did not get a release date. It got a TBD for its release date. But if you didn't play Mortal Shell 1, it's a Souls-like. In many ways, I think it outdid a lot of the Souls-likes, but it was underrated.
Yeah.
I
very.
didn't play a ton of it because at that point I was already pretty over Souls-like games. But the sequel looks to really be finding its own footing. It's adding some really cool stuff. Looks like some really good heavy metal, dark fantasy, medieval style combat with guns.
Yeah. I was like, they have guns now.
Yes,
that's
with
a
guns.
choice.
So, but they look cool. They look metal as fuck. The music they chose for the trailer was really good too.
It was also metal as fuck, you could say.
Yeah, super metal. It almost looked like Warframe-esque characters. I don't know if you like. They definitely changed that up a little bit, which is cool.
I played. So I haven't played a lot of Mortal Shell. I definitely played more of the playtest stuff because, I mean, you know me, I'm playtesting fucking everything that I can.
Yeah.
And the art style was very reminiscent of like Warframe, but
Darker.
like darker, like a not like horror or like body horror, just like a dark fantasy type. There's a fucking artist that I can never remember his name, but he makes he's a direct inspiration for games that have that body horror art style where everything in the environment is kind of body horror-esque.
Yeah, there was a game a lot like that.
Agony.
Agony. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they referenced that guy specifically for a lot of their art choices. But that style of psychological horror and art is kind of like it's interesting. It's a choice.
Yeah.
I think it's cool. And that's kind of initially what attracted me to Mortal Shell. Obviously, you know, like you said, it's a Dark Souls type, but I like the idea of Warframe, kind of the character design
Aesthetic,
mixed with just the disgustingness of typical Dark Souls horror. It worked really well. There's literally even, ironically enough, I think the lore for that game kind of is funny now because Warframe actually in their newer updates talked about the lore of Warframes and how like they're not actually their own beings. They are controlled by humans.
Yeah.
And in Mortal Shell, you're not actually your own being. You are controlled by the soul of a human.
Yes.
and Mortal Shell talked about that first.
I mean,
So I think that's kinda
arguably,
funny.
it's been a lore thing in Warframe for a very
Yeah,
long
it just-
time, but it was
just
not something
wasn't
they,
so upfront.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like that's why you're able to change your Warframe out is you're a being that doesn't exist with a body. You're sentient consciousness kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that got a sequel announced. Code Vein 2 also got announced, which is also a Souls-like with vampires and anime. Sounds cooler than it is, in my opinion. I was never big into Code Vein. But if you're a Code Vein fan, you've got another one coming. Also, no release date, unfortunately, from what I saw, though. So, you know. God, I'm trying to remember some of these fucking videos that I took notes on because it was 2 weeks ago.
Mafia the Old Country.
Yeah, Mafia the Old Country. We've seen that a couple of times. The game looks better and better every time they show it, honestly. Like, it really does look like, okay, this feels like more than just a GTA-like game. Like, this feels like it's standing on its own 2 feet. It's making its own story, making its own name. Because the first couple of Mafias just felt like low-budget GTA, in my opinion.
And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like, they had good stories.
No, it's not. But
I would say, arguably, of the two, the first one had the best story.
That's
three.
The problem.
You were talking about the first two, though. So
yeah,
I will say of the first two. I mean, honestly, even of those three, the first one had the better story. But arguably, 3 was better than 2 story-wise, and 1 was better than all 3 of them. So, or the other 2.
Yeah.
I do like the direction that the Old Country is going. Honestly, it speaks to my roots of my Italian ancestry. I remember seeing a lot of talk of like, this is supposed to be 2K's Red Dead Redemption. And I was like, all right, we've heard this fucking said before when Bethesda was like, this is going to be our Red Dead Redemption for their space game with Skyrim, but in space.
The Starfield?
Yeah. Yeah. And now that I'm actually like seeing the trailers and like seeing how the gameplay is, like the mechanics and stuff and all that shit, I actually am kind of understanding where they're coming from now. I really like the idea of it's not straight up just the old country. Like, yes, there is horse and buggy, but there is some like old school like automobiles. I wouldn't even call them cars. They're just automobiles.
It's early 1900s, right? So like you've still got semi-automatic pistols and rifles, like M1 Grands or whatever the Italian equivalent to be.
Yeah. It's very like World War era.
Yes. Yeah. It feels like it's right in that vein somewhere.
Yeah.
Between 1 and 2 maybe,
or
like right before 1. It's hard to say.
Yeah. I'm excited for it for sure. I look forward to where it goes and where they take it from there. I just think it's funny that everybody was like, you need to go back to your roots after Mafia 3. Because Mafia 3 was
all the way
arguably the most hated game. And they were like, all right, hold our beer.
We're going to go all the way back.
Yeah. So I'm curious to see how it goes. I mean, I'm going to fucking get the game anyway.
Yeah.
Whenever it comes out. But like,
it does look great.
I'm ready.
Speaking of all the way back, Chronicles Medieval. Did you see that one?
I did not.
Pull it up. I just rewatched the trailer to refresh my mind. This is from Raw Power Games. It is an action strategy sandbox RPG in the medieval ages that looks like war on a massive scale. So like think Chivalry or Chivalry 2 or Mordhau. Yeah.
Mordhau.
But like graphically over the top, large, massive armies. I mean, it looks like you're playing like an actual grand strategy battle game. Like this looks like Total War, but you're playing it in like third-person perspective on the field with 1,000 people. It looks
hell yeah,
dude. It looks awesome.
That transition from the cinematic to like the actual in-game control was fucking phenomenal.
I'm still not 100% sure we're seeing any actual in-game with this trailer. So just hold your beer and just write it out. But like it looks super impressive. It does have some RPG aspect. I'm curious to see what that looks like. I'm wondering, is this going to be like Battlefront style fights? Are we going to be like capture and control kind of thing? Because that would be, dude, if we're talking like level fights, like are we going to see massive 256 players versus 256 players? Because that would be insane. Is this an online game? Is it just a single player game? Like there's a lot of questions. A lot of them. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I almost kind of want... It's fucking geeking out over there.
Yeah, I am.
I almost kind of want it to be like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
Mm-hmm.
battle, like the way that everything's actually like simulated and you have to articulate your planning there, but mixed with like, what are you playing? Crusaders 3? Where you're like trying to take over
Crusader Kings. Yeah.
Where you're trying to take over entire nations. That'd be cool as shit in third person. Massive armies with that type of game or with that type of fighting in it.
I can't find.
Speculating, but that'd be cool.
I can't find anything that says that it's multiplayer, so it very well could be just a narrative story single player game. But it says sandbox, which usually implies multiple people. So.
And the other reason I'm speculating on that specifically, like national takeover thing, is towards the end of the trailer, if you go to a minute and 28 seconds in, right before it cuts, at the top UI, there's 2 bars. One of them is for your unit, and the other one is for the other unit, the opposing. Yeah. So as that drops, if the opposing unit loses all their men,
assumedly you win. That's how it works in Crusader Kings. Does that mean that
that's now your territory? Like, are you taking over territories is kind of what I'm getting at.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what it seems to be hinting at. Dude, it looks cool. They've got a devlog video on their Steam after that, which I'm kind of watching on silent, and it looks like they're actually working with recreating real medieval combat, which is super fucking cool. They mocapped a lot of good stuff, got a lot of great animations. Just Chronicles Medieval looks fantastic, and I can't wait to find out more. It is going to hit early access, but it is a planned release date of sometime next year. We don't have any other information than that.
Have you played Mordhau yet?
I think I've played it once. I'm pretty sure I own it.
Dude, oh my God. The first time I played it, I went through the training or whatever, and then I got into combat. And the first swing I took with a battle axe, I lobbed someone's head across the fucking field, and I was like, I stopped. I was like, good God. Oh my God. I stopped. I died because I stopped. But like, I was mortified. I was not expecting to kill that man with the fucking axe swing. Like I expected to kill him, but not lob his whole fucking skull open. Yeah. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. But speaking of, grand strategy games on that topic too, Game of Thrones showed off a new game from developer Playside. This is also slated for 2026. Game of Thrones War for Westeros is going to be a strategy single-player RTS with online co-op. I don't know how you do single-player and then say online co-op, but, that's what they're doing.
Maybe
and nor do I know how.
Story?
Yeah, I don't know.
Optional?
I'm confused because generally RTSs are not co-op games unless you specifically make them that way. Also, I have to ask myself, why? There is a very prominent mod for Crusader Kings 3 that literally lets you play this, but maybe better, because that's a grand strategy game, so you've got more depth to it, whereas this seems to be just I don't want to say bog standard RTS, but like not a grand strategy game. From what I can tell here, what I'm seeing, which their trailer was only CG, they didn't give us any gameplay at all, which I hate it when RTSs do that because it always makes the game look a lot better than what the actual game is.
World of Warcraft.
Yeah. It seems to be in the vein of StarCraft and Warcraft and all of that, right? Like, it seems to be just an RTS, command your armies, manage your resources, build bigger armies, and fight your way through whatever story you're making. So, I don't know. I'm interested in it, but at the same time, it's like, the Crusader Kings mod's probably more fun.
Okay.
That's my take. I don't know. I don't know if you had thoughts on this one, Mike. If you checked it out at all.
I didn't have any thoughts on it.
All right.
Didn't really look at it.
Okay.
You know how I am with RTSs. So I'm good at them. Don't really like them too much.
Yeah, I'm awful at them, and I don't like them at all. But
You're also a masochist. So.
I am a masochist. Too many hours of PUBG. I'd get into everything. Moving on, Marvel Cosmic Invaders got 2 new characters announced for it. Honestly, this game somehow slipped my radar or slipped my mind, and I really want this game. Cosmic Invaders looks awesome. Is it
a hero shooter?
No.
Oh.
It is a classic side-scroller beat-em-up, like the old arcade cabinets. Yeah, dude. It is exactly what you want out of a Marvel Comics game.
Is it Invasion? Cosmic Invasion?
That's what it's called, Cosmic Invasion. A cosmic battle arrives. Choose between 15 Marvel heroes in the frenetic action beat 'em up to fight against deadly annihilation wave. Yeah, it's the arcade cabinet. It's the old X-Men arcade, Marvel, all of it. And so they've announced. Yeah, it is, and it's gonna be fucking great. Can't wait for it to come out. Comes out this year sometime. Also, the Game of Thrones game doesn't have a release date. I don't know if I said that. Anyways, back to this. They announced 2 new heroes that you can play as. You got She-Hulk and Rocket were announced to join the crew of, I think, Wolverine, Spider-Man, bunch of others, Captain America. Looks like, looking at this, hang on. Venom, Storm, Captain America, Spider-Man, Nova. I think that's Karma, but I have no idea because I don't know who else in Marvel carries a sword and flies around. And Wolverine. I'm not entirely sure what hero that is.
So you're telling me that you're gonna pick Rocket every single time?
No, bro. I'm a Wolverine main always, to the day I die. Wolverine.
All right.
Yep. So, they announced more for that. Looks great. Onimusha got an update, some more gameplay that looks a lot like old school Ninja Gaiden, like not old school Ninja Gaiden, but like the remake Ninja Gaiden games. Looks very hard and combo based. Release date sometime in 2026 for that.
My notes for that were just, I'm sold on it, good game.
Yeah,
and then in parentheses, I put, hopefully English, though.
Hopefully English, though. Yes, yeah. Onimusha is great. Seeing them bring back the franchise is awesome. Please bring back Tenchu next. Seems like we're slowly working our way backwards.
You know what? I'm not even going to talk about it because then you're going to talk about, Division Heartland, and I'm going to be like, oh, yeah, let's go on that fucking tangent.
And it'll just be 3 hours, like the wife said. Arc Raiders.
I was on the phone with a lady friend literally 2 nights ago, and I was talking about Division and how they're getting an update, and then she was like, why does it sound like you're salty about it? And I was like, let me tell you, I sat on the phone with this woman for an hour,
and she blocked your number.
No, she's a gamer too, so she totally understood. It was so fucking funny.
That's very funny. It's very funny. Arc Raiders got its release date trailer. If you don't know what it is, it's another extraction shooter, PvPvE. From what I've seen and heard, it's good. A lot of people have said it's what Marathon should have been or should be. I don't know that I agree with that statement. I think there's room for both, but
there's a couple streamers, because Arc Raiders, when they were doing their playtest, they did open it, so no NDAs, so people were able to record stream.
Sure, yeah.
There is a very prominent, smaller-ish, but still large streamer on YouTube and YouTuber. His name is Ramen Style, I think.
Okay.
And he had basically something like 20 or so videos of him playing Arc Raiders, and it looks, and like understatement of the year, it looks really good. It looks like it plays very smoothly. The transition in the animations and using your tools and the like swapping weapons and running around corners, like it's fucking phenomenal. It's smooth as shit.
So I'm excited to check it out.
Yeah, I'll have to show you some of the videos.
Yeah.
I can throw them up on the TV while we build your new computer, honestly.
Yeah.
It's probably a time that I can do. We can watch those and just kill time. But yeah, I'm ready for Arc Raiders now. Like the game looks like it's ready.
Well, good news. It's not far away. October 30th.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's not far at all. Chrono Odyssey got announcement for their playtest, which happened this weekend. I didn't get a chance to play it. I don't know if I got into it. Like I said, was out camping. It looks a lot more Souls-like than I was anticipating. But before you say anything more, Mike, we will be talking more about that on the Patreon side, because Mike did get to play it a little bit. So we'll have some thoughts about that, as well as Atomic Heart and The Cube and a game called Jump Ship over on Patreon tonight. So we're going to talk about those over there. It's going to be an extra long Patreon because Mike fucked up last times. I'd say last week's, but it was the week before last. So
last times.
Mm-hmm. I will say that one thing I noticed as this show went on, I even put it in my notes here. I'm getting kind of tired of big scale boss fights. in games.
Yeah.
Like it just
you and me both, brother.
like the just walk into a big empty room and Big Bad drops down or pops up or come like just I'm kind of over the big scale like oh Big Bad in the room. Like can we get away from like it almost feels old. Like not like it's getting old, but like it feels like something you would see in I don't know maybe overdone. Mega Man. It's not like Mega Man's done that forever.
You want to know who started that idea of walking in a room and Big Bad boss?
I'm pretty sure it was Mega Man, wasn't it? Super Mario Bros. On the I
NES,
guess that's true. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it feels very played out, and I would like to see some evolution in this category of like maybe do it better. Like honestly, thinking about it, when it comes to Souls like big bad boss fights, going back to Star Wars Jedi Survivor, like I feel like a lot of those played really well. They were very just abrupt. They were not like I don't know. Really forecasted,
predictable.
Yeah, they weren't
especially with like adventuring and just like walking through a cave, and all of a sudden there's a giant fucking cave dweller there that you have to. There was one in not even in Survivor in the original one, Fallen Order.
Yeah,
there was this one, and I can't remember the actual name of the beast, but they're like the super towering like wart covered ugly alien thing.
Damn it, I need to remember this now. Ragnar.
Yeah, Ragnar. I fought one.
Yeah.
For 4 fucking hours because I refused
to go a different direction.
Equipped. I was not equipped at all, but I was like, I need to get to the end of this goddamn cave because there was something down here. Because now there's a mini boss and I got to get past this motherfucker. I was not equipped, dude. I kept getting my shit kicked in for like 4 hours straight. Yeah. It was an awful time.
Yeah. But they feel more organic that way. Like you're just out exploring, right? And even like playing Deus Ex, right, is going into their boss fights. There was a build up to them. And I think part of that just comes from the fact of like the games are structured differently. Souls games don't have a story that they're telling. So like you don't get that narrative direction. They have a story, but they're not, there's not a narrative to them. They have a story. They don't have a narrative, I guess is the right way to say that. So you don't get that like walk in and like get ready and like talk with the villain and get prepared for it. It's just like you walk through a fog wall, boom, giant demon fat guy with a big maul. Like, okay, all right. So.
6 arms and one shield, like
right. It's like, and it moves incredibly fast at the speed of sound for some unknown fucking. It just So I don't know. I felt like everything they were showing was like, whoa, big boss fight, And I'm like, I'm kind of done with that. So I don't know. That was just a thought that I had watching it through it. Liza P is getting a DLC. It's out now. It came out at the show.
That game is so fucking funny. There's so many points. Yeah, there's so many points in that game where like it lures you to what you think is treasure and it ambushes you. Like there's this one really section where you're like you see something shiny in the distance on an edge, like you're crossing like a fucking board that goes across an abyss basically. And on the other side, if you turn left, there's something shiny over there. And if you walk towards it, you get really fucking close. And the second you interact with it, you get fucking shield bombarded. Pushed off the abyss. No time to react. No time to roll away. Just like dead.
Damn.
It's the funniest. They do that so much, dude. There's so much trolling in that fucking game. The devs knew what they were doing.
It's brutal. It's so fucked up. I guess people like that. I don't know. That's not for me. I'd be mad. I'd be like, what the I'm done. So, I ain't got time for that. That's funny as hell to watch somebody go through. I don't want to play that. But speaking of games I do want to play, Lego Voyagers. Did you see that one?
I fell out of the Lego games after the Star Wars stuff.
That's fair. This one's different substantially. Like this looks like a good game to play with my daughter or my wife just to chill. It's a 2-player co-op action co-op adventure game where you play as a 1x1 and you roll around and pick stuff up to build.
What?
Yeah, it looks really cool, dude. Look up Lego Voyagers. It looks really fun. You play as a 1x1. It's a red or a blue 1x1, and you literally roll around the map and like pick up other pieces to like then take them to build stuff. And it's an adventure game. And it looks like super fucking cute and like a lot of fun to play, honestly.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Super cool. I'm interested in it for sure. TBD on the release date for that one, however, though too. So who knows how long we're waiting for that. There was a game I want to mention that was weirdly missing. And it came to my attention because they showed a different game. And I was like, oh, is this going to be? No, it's not. Jurassic Park. Where the fuck is the RPG story game that they trailered? Like, do you remember? It was the...
Wait.
You don't remember.
Bro, fuck you.
I
remember. Fuck you. Why did you not release the... Wait.
Uh-huh. Yeah, we haven't seen anything on that other than the first initial trailer, which like pulls at your freaking nostalgia alarms with the raptor scene in the kitchen. We haven't seen anything of that since. But they showed like another park builder Jurassic Park game.
Bruh. I'm mad now.
Welcome to my life. Read the hat, Mike. Read the hat.
I hope when I go to PAX, I get a fucking email. All right? And that better be.
It's not going to be
Jurassic.
There. It's not going to be there. I don't even know who's making that or where it's at or if it died.
I'm going to run around PAX and ask everybody.
Jurassic
I'm going to
Park
ask
Survive.
people that aren't even on the fucking team.
Jurassic Park Survive, being made by Saber Interactive, was announced, I think, a year and a half ago, something like that. Return to Isla Nublar.
Huh?
Yeah, Isla Nublar.
Neptune?
Yeah. The day after the events of the beloved 1993 Jurassic Park film, surviving thrilling first-person adventure as engine scientist Dr. Maya Josiah is a single-player action-adventure game. Yeah, no, that's a...
Maya Josiah.
It's Maya Joshi, I guess? I don't know. Josiah sounds better.
So somebody actually asked this question a couple months ago on Reddit, ironically enough. What the fuck happened to the game?
Yeah.
And a bunch of people came back and said that it came out that they announced it pretty early in the dev cycle, so it's still actually in pre-production.
That's a damn shame. They announced it way too early then.
Yeah, so people are saying that they feel that the earliest we'll see anything about it, not even just a release date, just anything, is like 2026.
That's a damn shame. They I hate it when games do that. Don't show anything until you've got like a window. Even if it's a year away, don't show it. Just give us nothing until it's like, hey, next year sometime. Cool. Awesome.
Just because you can open
Looking
up
at you, KOTOR.
Just because you can open up a checkered board map in UE5 and click a button that drops like an empty fucking skin of an NPC, and you can run around that empty checkerboard map does not mean that you have a game to show.
Yeah.
Stop showing it.
KOTOR. your 12-second cinematic trailer from 2018. 2018. Sorry about your eardrums, listeners. I'm just really mad about that.
I'm sorry too. I'm gonna have to really level the volume of this
you're
episode.
Gonna have a hard time, bro.
Yeah.
Speaking of hard times, feel bad for Ryan Reynolds. He's getting a hard time from Neil Patrick Harris because Neil Patrick Harris is doing the voice of Deadpool in the fucking VR game that's coming to MetaQuest.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, I feel like that. I'll let you get your thought. You do your thought. I'll do my thought.
Thank you. I get to do my thought. I don't have to have your thought.
Nah,
we got to be real careful about how we're pronouncing that word. I think
thought, not thought. Thought.
I think Neil Patrick Harris is a good choice for the voice. To be honest, I love Ryan Reynolds to death. I think he does the character great. But Neil Patrick Harris, I think, is going to bring his own kind of spin on the character, which I'm looking forward to. I think the trailer was great. I'm excited to see what they do. I'm excited to play it. I don't think, does it have a release date? I don't think it has a release. Late 2025 is what we had for that. But it shows that Omega Red's going to be in the game, which is really cool because he's like a classic Deadpool villain. Makes me wonder if Wolverine's going to be in it. Like how many cameos? Because there's going to be cameos. There was cameos in the old Deadpool game, right? So, it looks dope. I'm all for a VR shooter as Deadpool. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. I 100% think that he is the one to do the voice acting. I do love Ryan Reynolds in Deadpool. He captures the mannerisms and the external insanity of Deadpool pretty well. But if you just thinking of like going back to the Harold and Kumar stuff when Neil Patrick Harris is around and playing his character in that, like he's fucking insane.
Yeah.
Like he's actually scary. So like taking that idea of just this insane fucking like perverted person and just throwing him into the shoes of Deadpool, like that fits.
Yeah.
He 100% in that character has voices in his head, and I can see him constantly berating them.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he will do great in that role. I love that Ryan Reynolds put out like a response video to it too. Like,
today, I learned a lesson about buttholes they don't teach you in medical school. People who steal your signature role are the biggest buttholes of all. No, I don't blame MetaQuest. Neil Patrick Harris is an amazing actor with the nurturing voice of an angel. But even though I haven't hit puberty yet, I still know when you're getting totally screwed.
Hospital.
Go!
Oh,
Jeez.
sorry.
My girlfriend, what are you doing here? My dad sees you here. He's gonna freak.
You're a 48-year-old man.
I'm a 14-year-old medical prodigy who's going through the change.
Are you talking about puberty?
Robin, you're being paid.
This is vindictive and stupid.
I disagree with that diagnosis.
Who got the lobotomy with fries? All your dreams of being inside me come true in VR.
No, I don't think we should do that because
Because you're
you're
so
my
dumb.
sister-in-law.
it's very
like,
funny.
That's the other thing, man. Like Ryan Reynolds, right? You have come out and said multiple times now you are so fucking tired of playing Deadpool.
Yeah. Yeah. He has. He has. And I don't even think it's him playing Deadpool. I think it's the work he's had to do to play Deadpool. You got to remember he's been trying to get that
different
first
scripts
just
before the first movie. There was 26 different scripts that he wrote.
Yeah. And like just even the most recent, I think it was his 57th pitch to Kevin Feige that Feige I think
100%.
probably was just like, all right, fuck it, fine, do it. Like, leave me alone.
Yeah.
So I don't
It's
blame
definitely
him.
at this point just a wear him down type of pitch at this point.
Yeah, because and the fucked up part is every time it's a fucking hit. Every time Deadpool came out and it was the highest grossing comic book movie ever.
Yeah.
And then, Endgame came out and
yeah.
changed that. But like, that's besides the point, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's like, dude, let the man cook. He knows what the fans want. And you guys are fighting him at every turn.
I think the other thing that's becoming problematic is that Kevin Feige is trying to push the whole like, what are they on phase 4 or phase 5 now
Fuck it,
of the actual like multiversal shit, and Deadpool is canon, but like they're not really touching on the multiversal part of it.
Yeah,
I mean they did with Deadpool and Wolverine, which is why I think they've got approved for it.
probably.
But that's what Kevin wants, is he wants everything to start coming full circle for the big blowout whenever that happens.
Yeah.
And I think that is why it takes 57 pitches
Yeah.
to get anywhere with the guy.
But the problem is too, like the Marvel in general, not to get too far derailed here, but Marvel in general is like, it's gotten so convoluted. There's a lot of plot points that have been lost to time and just forgotten or glazed over. There's movies that were said to come out that they had an actor for, they had a writers for, they had directors for, and then there's only ever going to be one Blade because they fucking scrapped the movie again.
Which I will say, I'm so fucking thankful. I Wesley Snipes is Blade.
There's some actors that can do Blade justice.
No, Wesley Snipes is Blade. Fuck you. Wesley Snipes is Blade. He's an asshole. He's the worst person to work with in Hollywood. I think he still is.
I doubt that.
But
Christian
he is
Bale, I
Blade.
think, took that title a long. Actually, I think Russell Crowe took that title a long time ago.
Yeah.
Russell Crowe used to punch people out on set, from my understanding. The man is a mad
Aussie. Doing the movie. Yeah. But I think if Deadpool and Wolverine didn't come out, I will also say that there's a lot of stuff that came from that I'm happy did.
Yeah.
Like Gambit. Mm-hmm. It'll actually be nice to see. I'm so tired of seeing him in movies that I don't remember his name now.
Channing Tatum.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Channing Tatum. Playing someone other than the fucking muscle idiot. 21 and 22 Jump Street.
Yeah.
Playing an actual like supporting character or like playing someone who's actually worth a shit in some story.
Yeah. Yeah, because he hasn't had a
And-
lot of those roles. He really hasn't. Like he's just
Yeah,
played,
he's
like,
he's
muscle
very
dumb guy.
typecast, 100%. And I think it was an interview, or maybe it was just something that he had mentioned, just kind of sidelined in a fucking like red carpet or something. But he had mentioned that ever since he was a kid, he has always wanted to play
Gambit.
Gambit.
Yeah.
He loves Gambit.
Yeah. That's why Ryan Reynolds
100%.
gave him that role. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
100%. I don't
and
think
then
he
Wesley
looks
Snipes,
like a
you know.
Gambit, but that's just my
No, but
opinion.
also yeah. I mean, with the full getup, he kind of does.
Yeah.
His jaw is almost square enough
Yeah.
that when they put the actual like shroud on, it kind of fits.
Yeah.
The hair is 100% part of the shroud. That's not his natural hair.
Yeah.
But that, and then Wesley Snipes and Elektra coming back, like that's
It's pretty fucking cool.
all a setup that I think we needed
Honestly the
to
only thing.
refresh.
Yeah. The only thing that
everything.
was missing was Ben Affleck as Daredevil.
Yeah, yeah. But also, I mean, Charlie Cox, honestly, is probably like
I mean, we're-
the best
yeah,
fucking Daredevil we got.
absolutely.
We're
I'm not-
digressing way too
Yeah,
much.
we're-
Let's
yeah.
let's bring it back to the game. This is not a movie podcast. Although I will say, if Patreon subscribers, if y'all want a movie podcast,
We could do a movie podcast if that's something you guys
Let
are
us
interested
know.
in. Yeah. If
yeah,
that's something you're
we
interested in.
literally will sit in the kitchen for hours and just talk about movies and TV shows.
Yeah.
When we're supposed to be fucking cooking. So
Facts.
if
Hard
y'all want a
facts.
movie podcast,
Yeah. It seems like everybody wants those, so I don't know. If you do, let us know. We'll do like a
Yeah.
special Patreon only show if anybody's interested in that. Moving on though, Dying Light: The Beast gets a final actual release
yeah,
date.
give yes.
Yeah.
My notes
20
were literally just yes.
22nd of August this year. Dying Light: The Beast is coming out, and we're getting the Dying Light we should have had. Seems
Oh
like
my God,
Techland
dude,
really
yeah.
took to heart a lot of feedback on Dying Light 2. Is going back to what made the game good in the first place. Reprising the role as God, why can't
Kyle
I-
Crane?
Yeah, Crane. That's what it was. So that looks cool.
Yeah.
New Sifu style 3D brawler, Axe of Blood. I don't know if you saw that one.
I did. It's actually one of my notes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Parkour in it too, which is a nice little ad. So
Yeah. Love me a good beat 'em up.
yep.
The cloth environment simulation and physics looks really cool, and then also the X-ray damage highlights to skeletons when you like punch the shit out of people and you punch them out. It's great.
There is apparently a demo on Steam. It is playable right now. So,
Well, I'm downloading that right the fuck now.
so you can play
Steam
it.
window. Where did you go? There you are.
But yeah, the release date's still TBD, but there is a demo on Steam. So I like his jacket. It feels super cyberpunk inspired to me. Like it feels like the samurai jacket, but like more,
Yep.
I don't know, current day era kind of thing. So that's cool. Graphically,
I honestly,
it doesn't
yeah.
look too insane, but yeah, the cloth movement looks so good.
It's John Wick Gun Fu, man.
Yeah.
Just fucking take it. Just
Yep.
download it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Just play it. It's fine. It's good.
Speaking of movies, there's a kung fu
we
there's
can't
a kung
escape.
fu zombie movie coming out.
What the fuck?
Yes, I think it's called Zium or something like that.
Wait,
Z-I-
do the zombies know kung fu,
no,
or is
no,
it
it's
a
just
kung
a
fu
dude
fighter
beating up
versus
zombies
the
with kung fu. It's really great. He punches a zombie in the face and just splatters blood across the wall. It's really funny.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's coming to Netflix. So yeah, that's the thing.
We're watching that.
Absolutely. On the quick fire side, we're just kind of jumping around here, guys, talking about what we saw. So the quick fire for you: Scum leaves early access. The game looks as unhinged as it did when I bought it 3 years ago. You can literally shit in that game and throw it at people. So that tells you, yeah, that should tell you everything you need to know. It's a zombie survival game in the vein of DayZ and things of that nature.
There,
Kind of.
It's a lot more
It was.
hardcore than zombie survival.
Yeah.
it still is
Yeah.
very hardcore. I will say, you actually need to like
Yeah.
take care of your body, weather and temperature and hunger and cold, like everything. It's basically real life.
Yeah.
You have to worry about everything that would kill you in the wild. You have to worry about in this game.
And zombies.
Yeah, and zombies. There's also
Other
if you go to, like
players.
the military camper. I mean, yeah, there's also players if you play online. There's also military bases and shit too that you can go and like they're really high loot areas,
Yeah.
but you'll get destroyed by mechs.
Yeah. There's some wild shit in that game.
If you fucking rack up to a military base with a goddamn stick, you're gonna get your shit kicked in. Literally, the mech will stomp the shit out of you.
Yep.
Don't do that.
And then it'll throw it at you because you can do that in that game.
Yeah,
Again, at least you could in the version I played years ago.
pretty sure you still can.
Yep. Apparently, Mind's Eye isn't in a good state because it looks good, but I've been seeing a lot of information about Mind's Eye having some
Oh
troubles.
boy! Oh my god! No, ooh.
That's a shame.
That's all I got to say about that.
Foof. It's a shame. They didn't show the trailer, and I meant to look it up, but there's a new 007 game, First Light, coming.
Oh god, yes! I am so ready.
Did you watch the trailer for that? I'm gonna look it up right now.
Just give me the game. Just give me the game. Just give me the game. Just put it in my hand.
I've heard a lot of like people be like, "Why does he look like young Nathan Drake?" and things of that nature. So like they're not a fan of the look, but and then there's
how
been
dare they try to make him look handsome like 007?
I mean, yeah, like it. I just figured like Pierce Brosnan, Sean Connery,
Yeah,
that's Bond, right?
yeah.
So, I've never really got on board with the Daniel Craig Bond. I thought he was too pretty boy, but
That's what they want, man. They want Daniel Craig in this game. They want pretty boy Bond. They don't want no.
yeah,
It was also really weird that he was like absurdly muscular for the movies.
Daniel Craig, yeah,
Like-
yeah. Bond was never
Like he wasn't
that-
not like absurdly muscular, but for Daniel
Bond.
Craig is a very stout man.
Yeah,
So it makes him look muscular
we're back on
as
movies
hell.
again.
Yeah. Fuck it, man. We're a gaming and movie podcast now.
Gaming and movie podcast, getting a whole new genre of people to listen.
Yeah. Daniel Craig was it. He was a good Bond, but his like actual like stature didn't really fit the character.
Yeah, this looks like I actually like it. This guy looks like a good blend between like Sean
Yeah.
Connery and Pierce Brosnan. Like he's got that kind of like gruff charm to him, but he's also on the younger side in this, like maybe late 20s. It looks like.
Yeah. I think that they went with that direction with the character because they're trying to make it a multi-game story. Like they're trying to continue to make
I
more
hope
games
so.
and
I
sequels.
hope so because this looks
So
great
that-
so far.
Yeah, so that to me would imply that the character is going to grow and learn more things and become more mature as the games come out.
Yep. Yeah, it even says here, fellow James Bond is a young and resourceful and sometimes reckless recruit in MI6
Yeah, so
trainee
he's like
program.
this-
So this is this is like he's day one. We're playing day zero.
Bro just passed the test.
But bro just got his fucking MI license. Like he's like, yeah, I got my license to kill. I'm here to do it.
Like Batman. I'm here to hug my parents and kick ass. And I'm all out of parents.
The game looks great. Unfortunately, again, not releasing until next year, 2026. I just, I don't have any complaints off of what I'm seeing right here. We got car chases, we got
it's really good.
silenced PP7s, we've got laser watches, we've got champagne and martinis, shaken, not stirred, presumably. We've got a sweet ass fastback, looks like Mustang that he's riding around in. No, that's an Aston. Never mind, that's probably a DB.
Always an Ashton. Always.
Always. I mean, it was until it was Pierce Brosnan, then it was BMW. So, because Pierce Brosnan was lame that way. But that's
Yeah.
okay. Looks great. Gimme game.
Yep. Good game. Put it in hand.
If you like Mario Party, Lego's doing Mario Party, and I'm sold.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I will add to that. There is a game that's been out for a while that is very much Mario Party, but like animated violence.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. What is that?
It is. Hold on. It is on my Steam list. I have a very big Steam list. This is going to take a minute.
Yeah,
so
you
keep
go ahead and
talking.
look. So Lego Party is a 4-player party game that's built different. I don't know that I agree with that statement, seeing as how it looks exactly like Mario Party. Compete with your.
Blah, blah, blah.
Let me take that again, Mike. We're gonna go ahead and just take that again. Compete against your friends in wacky challenge zones and 60 hilarious mini games across your favorite Lego sets like Pirates, Space, Ninjagos, and more. So yeah, it's Mario Party with Legos, and I'm totally cool with that. And character customization because Legos. So
Yeah. not?
It's sold, coming sometime later this year. And the other game that Mike was referring to, I think
still
he's
being looked
working
for.
on finding it. He's
Still being looked
scrolling
for.
a lot
Yeah.
here and really kind of sweating. The sweat is starting to precipitate down his
300
forehead
Steam games
as I
count.
continue to stall for
You know
him
that?
here.
You know that?
No,
meme
keep looking
from,
for the damn game.
Do you know that? I'm looking for it while talking. You know that meme with Key and Peele, and he's like sweating
Yeah.
profusely, like they just dumped water on his head.
Yes, that's what
It's
you're
happening
doing
right now.
right now. And
I think
I
think
feel
should
like we
pass
need
it.
to plug in the Jeopardy music here, but we'd get DMCA'd very quickly.
It's 100. if you hum it out of tune, it'll
It'll
probably be fine. Your mic is just ignoring all of that noise.
Oh, I'm sure it was. It didn't on the recording though, so enjoy that.
Pummel Party. That's what
Pummel
it's called.
Party.
Pummel Party. I played it a couple times with a streamer friend of mine.
Yeah, I remember
And-
seeing this.
Yeah, they are 3-hour long games if you're not careful.
Jeez. Jeez.
Yeah, they're fucking fun, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, they look cool.
Fun as fuck game.
look-
It's $15 and it's 100% worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember watching somebody play this when it came out. I was like, man, this looks fucking fun. And then completely
It's so fun.
forgot about it. So
It's so fun.
yeah.
I recommend it.
Yeah.
100%.
Strong buy. 1 to 8 players too, so that's cool.
Yep.
And local and online co-op. Ill is a first-person survival horror game. It's called Ill. You're welcome. That's a hard transition, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a good segue.
Look, man,
I was ill.
you were. Mudfish, honestly, like crushing it this show. They showed a lot of great, terrifying games, and Ill is one of them. It is body horror that would make Lovecraft squint.
It straight up reminded me of I don't know if you remember playing Cry of Fear.
No.
Okay, so Cry of Fear is a psychological / body horror / like it's a really like fucked up kind of game. To the point that they actually warn people who are in recovery from like drugs and alcohol use to not play the game.
Damn.
Like it fucks with your head, and it's a really good game. It's built on the Source engine. It's free to play. You can go and play it right now if you wanted to. Again, I don't recommend it if you are someone who's sensitive to these subjects.
Yeah.
But it reminded me of Cry of Fear because one of the enemies in the game is they're called Screechers, but they're essentially toddlers. They're zombie toddlers.
Yep.
And if you get too close to them, they will freak the fuck out. Segue in my notes for this game, kicking zombie children across the room. Sold.
You know, it's kind of funny you say that because Dismemberment is what sold me. When he blows off the guy's arm with the shotgun and takes out dude's kneecap with the pistol, I was like, wow, yeah, this is great.
Your subscription to kneecaps has been revoked.
Yep. Yeah, no kneecaps for you. Gory, super cinematic, very realistic, crazy realistic physics. Body like this to me looks like what Resident Evil 7 and 8 was trying to go for. Like this feels what 7 8 was trying to do.
Yeah.
The level of just like disturbing horror of like what the fuck am I even looking at?
I'm
Is-
replaying 7 right now to get ready for RE9.
Gotcha.
For some reason.
Yeah.
And I need to get back to playing RE7 at some point.
So I don't know. Looks good. Realistic first-person action horror game that takes you into the dark fort, into a dark fort overtaken by a mysterious entity, unpredictable monsters, a visceral dismemberment system, a realistic physics created by create an atmospheric atmosphere of relentless horror. Yeah, I'd say you guys nailed it with this because, boy, it is. There's one. Are you on the Steam page right now? If you scroll down to the about this game, the GIF that they have rolling, that would terrify me. Like I'd be dead if that happened. It's literally a video of just a horror monster smashing through a door in a hallway in such a realistic manner that like I wouldn't have even been able to move or react in time. I'd been dead. I'd been like, dead.
Well, this is it. Yeah.
And
Yep.
Yep. Last thought would have been Welp. That would have been it.
Honestly, the third one down. That's the one that.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, the baby running around with the GoPro strapped to its chest. I love it.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
Good. Yeah. Wu-Tang Clan got a new game coming.
What?
You didn't see that one?
No.
Yeah, Wu-Tang, Rise of the Deceiver, bro. Looks so good. Wu-Tang Rise of the Deceiver is a co-op action RPG with anime-style fighting and Afro-surrealism aesthetic. It looks great. Players will face incredibly challenging battle chambers to the tune of reimagined Wu-Tang Clan tracks while decking out their own custom fighter. It looks so good. I want it. I want it bad. I love Wu-Tang Clan. I love their music. It reminds me of like everything that was great about like Afro Samurai because Reza did the music for that, and like Man with the Iron Fist because Reza did that, and like just like all the old, just everything Wu-Tang Clan touches is awesome. And this one's presented by Ghostface Killah, which is outstanding. So cannot wait to see this game come out. Unfortunately, TBD on the release date, but love the aesthetic of this game. It looks so good.
100%. Yeah. Dude, the system requirements for this game are like easy.
Yeah, basic. 1080 Ti, bro.
Yeah. An i7 8700, like not even current gen Intel,
Nah.
or even like the last 10
Yeah.
years of Intel. Like it's easy.
Easy peasy. Project Sentry, Stranger Than Heaven. Did you see that one? I think the last one
Maybe?
I've got. Yeah, I think this is what I've got for the free side. It's a detective game in Japan in 1943, and it looks like you play as a white guy, but there's mention of like not being white and not being Japanese, like you're something else.
Yeah.
And there's
I
no
looked
Steam
at
page
this.
from what I could find.
Yeah, I looked at this and I was like, is this another Yakuza game?
It doesn't,
Like, it looks like it takes place somewhere in the Yakuza like map area ish.
but it doesn't seem like it plays like a Yakuza game at all. Like I would almost say that the gameplay for this feels more in line with like Deus Ex, to be honest. Like it feels like a detective game. It feels like a noir style Japanese game, which is super cool.
Yeah, I had mixed feelings about this because like the opening section looked really great, and then, I mean, I'm also the type to not argue about this type of shit, but like the opening section looked really great, but then the more I looked as you go through the game, it starts to look very like late gen PS3 type.
It does, yeah. It definitely looks a
graphically.
little dated, even from the start. It really does.
Yeah.
Like it seems very. I almost want to say LA Noir style. Like it feels like it fits the era that game was released. The cloth.
So the reason.
Good.
Sorry.
Good.
Yeah, the cloth fabrics
Yeah.
look really good. The reason I was saying it looks like the Yakuza games is because it's made by the Like a Dragon developer.
Is it okay? So maybe it is a Yakuza
like the
game, but
opening.
it's like,
Yeah, the opening section looked super familiar to me, just like more feudal, I guess.
yeah.
But it is made by the same people. It takes place in 1943.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it plays like Yakuza, because Yakuza always has like a little bit of off the railsness to it that keeps it kind of campy, and this seems way more grounded and real. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I'm interested to see the reviews.
Yeah.
I never really got into the Yakuza games. So.
I didn't either, but this one has me interested because, like, I don't know, something about this era with Japan and like the interesting setup that they did with this game. It has me really into it. I like the setting, so I'm curious to see where it goes.
What throws me off of the Yakuza series is that every single game, with the exception of the last few DLCs, I guess, it always takes place on the same fucking blueprint. The same street, they just swap out some buildings. And like that might work in like some places. Like I don't know if the Yakuza games are big over in like Japan where they take place.
Sure.
But like that same fucking just copy paste.
Yeah, I mean,
Change some of the homework a little bit.
Yeah.
Like that, it gets boring after a while.
Sure.
And it looks like they're doing the same thing with Stranger Than Heaven. They're just changing a bunch of the building faces and like the time and the era. So I'm hoping that they don't just leave it like that. I hope they actually expand on it.
I do have,
Because there is some screenshots in here that I'm seeing that aren't familiar.
yeah, I do have the benefit of never actually playing any of the Yakuza games, so I do have that going for me because it'll be the first one that I do if I do play it. But it's interesting enough that I figured it deserved a spot in tonight's chat. So
Absolutely.
that is pretty much all we have for tonight on the free side. We're going to go over to our Patreon here in just a minute. And like I said, talk about a couple other things. If you want to hear about them over there, join our Patreon, patreon.com/CoinDropPod. For $3 a month, you get this episode a day early and all of the extra content over there. And always, always ad-free. So, Mike, any final thoughts before we head over to do that?
Yeah, I'm gonna do a quick plug just because I streamed last night and it seems like I get a fair amount of attention on TikTok. So I know you had mentioned a couple episodes ago that we're not really going to be doing streamed episodes anymore, but we'll still do the community events. I might still stream every now and again our episodes to TikTok, and it just won't be anything but our faces or whatever. Just to see how that goes. So you're welcome to follow me on my TikTok. It is the same as my Discord name. It's Zerora, Xerora. If you want to catch them over there.
Maybe flash that on the screen for the audio.
Yeah, I'll put that on the
video
screen
side
for the video side. And then if you just want to throw it in the description in the Spotify stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a thing. And then also tell your mom I said hi, and also fuck COVID, and again, fuck Ubisoft. Heartland was a great game. Fuck you.
And there you go, once again, hearing it as it is from Mike. Have a great night, everyone. We will see you next time.